seriously. There is a prevailing assumption that the government is not taking this as seriously as government should. And for that reason, in the absence of a better idea, they think that getting every Nigerian to start complaining about something that they are suffering as a consequence of students being on strike and then in protest, that maybe that way the government will take the situation a little more seriously.
I agree that you need to protest, like I have said.
Yeah.
But there are people also in Nigeria who also are protesting or who needs protests because of as a result of the challenges they are also going through in various sectors as a result of misgovernance or lack of governance at all. So when you're protesting also, you need to also put this set of people in perspective. Let me give you an instance. There were days when once NANS called protests in universities and they locked down universities, the government would shiver. There were days when even ASU, once ASU sneeze, government would shiver. So now, when universities are shut down, students cannot access classrooms, and it seems as if government does not care because a lot of them, their kids are schooling out of Nigeria. Some even those that cannot afford Europe will go to Ghana, Cotonou here. Have a lot of Nigerian students in these places. Yeah, you need to draw government attention to it so that to avoid the mistakes of the NSAS protests. Do you know why?
Okay.
You say, government will say, well, the same way you have a right to protest, we also have a right to maintain law and order. It is not only government people that are assessing this route that you have shut down, indefinitely. There are other persons who wants to go about their normal duty. We also owe it a responsibility to protect them. So, if, for example, the government also can feel the pulse, or the government also would hear you loud and clear. If your protest, for example, is around the universities, let's imagine that every public university in Nigeria today, there's a protest going on at the gates of the premises of these universities. Do you know the massive monumental effect that would resonate with the government, the state governors, the commissioners for education, than a one-off protest in Bega and the airport road? Protests are good, but what I'm trying to say is there should be a strategy to actually achieve results. So that, because mind you, in politics, in Nigeria today, everything is political. So you read through, you look through your strategy and say, look, if we do this, how long can we sustain this? If they don't listen to us today, they don't listen to us tomorrow, they don't listen to us next tomorrow, and Nigerians going to complain that we are also blocking their access to earning a living. It's just like all those labor strike of those days. Do you know what the government did? When they discovered that, after 3 days, people were on their own going out to say, we're under hunger, they just kept quiet. And that's the same thing they are doing with ASU now. Anyway, leave them. When they are tired, they will come to the negotiation table. They will come, we'll just give them what we want. So it is high time we begin to move away from those preemptive moves. Oh, don't worry, just leave them. 2 days they will leave that place. Nigerians will be tired. Nigerians will tell them to leave.
Yeah.
So there's need for strategy.
Okay.
And this strategy should involve, it's Nigerian students. It should involve, everybody, including parents who have children in schools. Let us all go to Unilag. Let us all gather at the gates of LASU and say, you know what?
What is happening?
What is happening? We all want to sit down so that they won't say we are unruly. We all want to sit down at this gate of the university. The universities are locked. At least we can't access it. We don't want to destroy even the small infrastructure that you have managed to. But we all want to sit down here, carry our books and sit down. Yeah. In some cases, even teach ourselves.
Okay.
The world is a global village.
Okay.
There are various ways you can make loud statement without uttering a word.
Okay. Now I want to make this a public conversation, so even though we have a guest in the studio, it's necessary for people to come in, call in, live in a commentary, ask a question, so that this can go both ways. Remember that the protest is as is reported right now, ongoing. So on Nigeria Info's the SunnySide, this is something we all need to talk about. Hello, welcome to the show. Tell us your name. Good afternoon. Our guest is Laboris Ashoma. Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Darlington. Good afternoon. My name is Darlington Maduneme.
Welcome, Darlington, to the show.
Thank you.
Turn off your radio. Turn off your radio, okay? So that there are no interruptions. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Liberal, but I beg to differ. There's a place I don't accept, and that is we should allow this to do whatever they want. If they need to shut down this country totally for us to get Nigeria right this time, we should do it. Anybody that wants to do business should do the business here, not going, okay. If this flight, whatever flight, international flight, whatever it is cancelled, then the government will take us serious. If they do this for 3 days, that the flight, eventually we'll have to put pressure on them, and then they'll take the students serious. I'm a student, yes, but
you're a student. Really, are you affected by the strike?
I am.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, thank you.
Even though I'm not confined, I'm not worried, but.
Okay.
Nigeria needs. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Nobody who is suffering from government ineffectiveness will allow you shut down his business because you are aggrieved. At the end of the day, government knows this. They are not daft. They understand. They know this.
This is a very
they understand this strategy. So they allow you. At the end of the day, becomes a clash of interests.
That's exactly what I'm observing right now.
It becomes a clash of interest.
Okay, so you
take NSAS for example. You know, why it lasted. At some point, some persons, started reading politics into it. As genuine as the idea was, some people started reading politics into it, and then, before you know it, government said, well, we can't leave people like that to be unruly, and we don't want a situation where people will deprive other road users, and then there was a spark and properties were destroyed.
Okay.
At the end of the day, was the result achieved? No.
All right. So we have Laboris in the studio, and this is, I think it's sensitive. On the other hand, I also think it's very interesting to hear the public react to an ongoing situation. We have seen something similar when NSAS played out in our eye, or before our eyes. So here again, once again, and not too far from the last time we had, NSAS, there is a situation with students protesting at the airport. If you're around that axis, you pretty much have an update to give to us. If you're in that protest, you have a relative who's with that protest. If you support or disagree, it's necessary to hear your point of view on the SunnySide, Nigeria Info. Hello, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Joyce, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you, thank you. Tell us your name.
I agree with your guest.
Okay.
Imagine if what's happening at the airport is happening across the state of the Federation. The heat will be much. And the people you are blocking are not the people that will talk to the government.
Okay.
Protest near the state houses in the states. Do something that will disrupt it. For example, you have a person in Abuja, Buhari is in New York. He traveled up. He's going to come back. That's when he's going to come back. So why not do it? Let the heat be much. You are disturbing Lagos.
Okay.
Tomorrow they will say this is Labour Party instigating the youth.
Exactly. I'm telling you.
Why is it Labour Party? Why isn't it any other party though?
Politics.
So because they say Labour Party is NSAS driven.
Yeah, exactly.
Who said? I've never heard that.
Yeah, no.
It's on now.
I've never heard that. Okay.
It's on.
So you fear that the sentiment might override the narrative.
Yes.
So if it's happening in Lagos, happening in Oka, happening in Enugu, happening in Abuja, happening in Kaduna, then it is. But why Lagos? Why disturbing Lagos?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for calling. Yeah. Let me go to the telephone lines. I'm concerned about a meta narrative. It seems as though we are paying more concern to a meta narrative, a narrative that isn't quite necessarily accurate, but has the tendency to override the truth.
Yes, because if you're not strategic, look, when you are dealing with Nigerian politicians and government, you have to think far ahead of them. You don't use the same approach, knee-jerk approach. Consistently, we have seen protests in Nigeria, and we've seen government reaction to protests. And so, if you want a sustaining protests, you also have to, be strategic and think beyond them. If you think along the same line they think you're going to think through, at the end of the day, they just wait, and then that your action will be counterproductive. Before government responds, the people, because there are people also who are feeling the hardship of misgovernance. Your own is different. They'll tell you, look, you even go school. Me, I no go at all. So one of the callers said there are area boys gathering around those areas. They also have, and some have political interest to protect. You never can tell. And so, yeah, I'm telling you. And that's why you have to be very, very, very strategic. And protest is good. I support protests completely, 100%. But I also support the protests that will achieve results. Not the one I know that government, you know them, the way they do their thing. After some time, they will tell you, just leave them for some time. After all, now we're even protesting in Lagos, not Abuja. So it doesn't even concern them. It doesn't disturb them. They just hear it in the news. And so it doesn't concern them. And then Nigerians who it affected will complain. And then they complain. Somebody comes in and say, we have to maintain law and order. Let's move. Let's be strategic. If we all cannot gather all the university students, let's even first and foremost coordinate with the, the SUG presidents. At least they are members of NANS. Let's have the SUG presidents on board and have a strategy on what are we going to do back in our various universities. Let's start it from there, take it up from there. And then after those various protests, we can now have a mother of all protests around government National Assembly in Abuja, just like the women did in Abuja. Have a mother of all protests in maybe close to Government House in Port Harcourt, close to Government House in Lagos, where the people will, those who are the decision makers will really. But when you have one-off in general areas where both the poor, the rich, and those in the university and those around not in the university, will pass through, it will be counterproductive in the long run. Mind you, as we speak now, there is this argument that there is a narrative. Labour Party had said they want to do the obedient movement 1 million or is it 4 million march in Lagos. Okay. There's allegations that some persons have gone to court to block that protest. And before you know it, it is easy for politicians to begin to say, look, this is another, such movement in disguise. They are using students. How do we even know that these people are students? It is. And we introduce politics into it. Okay. We introduce politics into it, and it kills a laudable idea.
Okay. We're going to go off on a break. Laboris Ashoma in the studio. This is so interesting. I can't believe the complexity of it. When we come back, I'll take a few more commentaries. I'll read a few more messages, and of course, allow Laboris to respond based on what might be a legal perspective, and maybe responding as a Nigerian parent who might have children who are of tertiary age. We'll be right back. My name's Joyce.
Imagine a life with zero worries. Imagine a world where you're relaxed and free, where all your dreams
with Page Financial, you have zero worries when it's time to pay your bills, rent, school fees, and vacation. We'll be here making it easy for you.
Visit our website www.pagefinancials.com or call 017007243. Page Financials, taking you further.
The big stories of the morning.
Papers are in, and we got them ready to roll this one.
From the front page of the papers.
Okada riders snatching our wives, protesting Osun police constables.
The headlines.
I took part in robbery to raise money for my pregnant wife. Vanguard newspaper. It's not bed of roses out there. FG wants young doctors.
A sneak peek into the stories. All comes under review on The Dailies Today. Join us on The Dailies Today, Monday to Friday, 6:15 to 7 a.m. and 7:30 to 8 a.m. here on 99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk.
The number one talk station of Lagos is closer to you than ever.
Join the conversation online or on the go.
Be part of the Info family on our user-friendly mobile app and website for a better and improved listening experience.
Download the app from Google Play Store and App Store.
With super efficient and clean audio quality.
Log on to nigeriainfo.fm.
Watch us live on YouTube and Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter at NigeriaInfoFM.
And Instagram at NigeriaInfoFM Lagos.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
We're like gold diggers, tunneling through the mishaps and the handicaps.
I don't know what to cook for them. I don't know what to give them to eat. That is the issue at hand as I speak right now.
In the name of the good, we hope to earn the truth and be worth our weight in salt.
Every night, every night and there, we hear 1 million boys, 2 million boys, 3 million boys. For common people wouldn't have no money. They're supposed to plan it where people can follow you. Everybody can follow you, both the rich and those poor.
The SunnySide with Joyce.
The SunnySide with Joyce.
Weekdays 12 to 3 p.m. on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
The SunnySide, 99.3 Nigeria Info, and it is 1:30 on the clock. There's a strike at the airport by Nigerian students who are just offended by the pattern the time is taking for them. The time is taking the government and ASU to reach a middle ground. My name's Joyce. I have with me in the studio a guest, Labaris Oshama, a social commentator, and also a barrister. And he is trying to give another perspective, one perspective that quite a few of you might have, but I would say a perspective that might differ from what is socially obtainable. 0700 993 993 993. The other number for the ladies isn't quite working, so I do apologize. I do advise that everyone calls the 0700 number, 0700 993 993 993. I hear that the protest is still ongoing, and I'm going to go to the telephone lines to get reactions to this event. Labaris earlier on suggested that strategy was required for the long term. He did, he reeled out in recent history the years ASU has been on strike and gave little reasons as to why ASU observed strikes in those years. And he said that there is a lingering pattern, one that has to be altered. We'll speak about the cost of education in a moment, but for now, Nigeria Info, the SunnySide. Good afternoon to you. Welcome. The volume of your radio set. Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon. This is Kelvin calling.
Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you very much for calling.
I was at the airport and I witnessed the protest, but there's something I don't like about what I saw.
Okay.
I think literally that all Nigerian parents should be there. In fact, it involves everybody.
Okay.
It's everybody. I just saw a few of them there and I'm not happy about it. Okay. Because students can be at home from February till date and nothing is happening.
Okay.
And at the same time, I think there are other ways we can also do it. Go to the government houses, presidential villa, go there and protest, not even at the
airport,
international airport road.
Okay.
Let everybody come out. Me, I'm in support of it.
Wow.
I think that's all I want to say.
Okay, well, thank you very much for calling. So quite a number of callers this morning have shared with us their experience. They visited the airport. Hello, let's hear from you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you. Thank you very much for calling.
Good afternoon. This is Mr. Frank. I'm calling from Ojo.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, I am fully in support of this strike. And I disagree a little bit of what the barrister said by the students being tactical and creating chance for Nigerians to be having their way. I don't think that would be right. Because if you make ways for some people and they will just go freely without noticing what is happening. But if you shut down everywhere, everybody will be affected. And everybody will come out and tell the government this thing is affecting us.
Okay.
But if you let them have their ways, nobody will join, nobody will put mouth.
Okay.
And secondly, the he mentioned so many years and times of all this where all these things happen, strikes.
In the past, yeah.
If you tell in the past from 84 to 99, 2000 till today, if you take of them, you will see that it has been old men that never know anything about education that have been ruling us all this while.
Well, that's not accurate.
That's not true.
That's not accurate.
There have been old men. Is there any young boy that have ruled also?
It doesn't. Do you think the age matters? To be honest,
age matters. An old man doesn't know what is education.
34.
So that's not accurate. That's not accurate.
All of them till today. So if we have a younger president now, and as educated, that knows the value of education, there will be a change.
All right. Okay.
So, for the fact that these people are being blocked, let them block because 99% of them are the ones who voted them in. Let it affect everybody.
I mean, you're going to have a moment. All right. Thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. Thank you. The SunnySide, welcome to the show. Tell us your name.
Hello, Joyce.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for calling. Hello, can you hear me? Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon to you. You're on the SunnySide. My name's Joyce. What's your name? Welcome.
Yeah, you see, the Ogaja I greet you.
I greet you.
Yes, sir. You see, the truth remains that the people are not serious. They are not yet want to be out of the problem. Starting from the military. Before you know it now, they will send those military from the northern side, because I know that if you check very well, you will not see any northerner be among those protesters.
Why?
Yes.
So wait. Because why did you say that?
Boko Haram said that the education is haram.
No, but that's not true. There are northerners who are in school.
That's not true.
Yes, but they will not join. Let us show your guest there. Go and check.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. He's going to speak about that in a moment, but that's so wild. Oh, wow. Hold on a second. Wow. I told you were going to have something to talk about. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling. I want to take one more call, and then I'll, go to our guest to speak on something he was concerned about, which he raised a lot earlier on the show this afternoon. The SunnySide. My name's Joyce. Remember to turn off the volume of your radio set. What's your name? The volume. Yeah. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to the SunnySide. What's your name?
My name is Tega.
Welcome, Tega. Go ahead.
Thank you so much to your guest, and thanks for this program. I was on my way to the airport. I could not get to the airport.
Why? Traffic? Why?
Yeah, people were scared, and vehicles are not moving. So at some point, we had to turn back.
Wow.
Well, there is an impact in a way, but I like the idea of making it go round. But on a second thought, the government may just consider it as something that does not affect the federal government. So it will just be at the state level, and you're going to hear a lot of stories. Some governors might take excessive action. I remember there was a protest like this in Kaduna State, and I'm sure if we are following stories like this, we'll remember that El Rufai did not handle it nicely, because that was done at the state level. So somehow, I don't know how it can affect the federal government if they want to do it. Protest is good, but like you said, sometimes they put in political undertones that make it look like it is something forbidden. And somehow I am kind of supporting those who think that the government does not take education seriously because they don't have value for it. And on the other part, I also think that because their children are not here, that's why they are acting like that. So that if Nigerian student wants to kill themselves, let them go ahead, as long as their children are not among. So that, if we have more educated people, as it were, they will be, all students of these schools who will be interested in the student matters. But because if you look at all of them who are in politics, they didn't go to Nigerian universities, so they don't care whether the universities are dying.
No. They went. Quite a number of them went to Nigerian universities.
All of them went to school.
Well,
yeah, but Nigerian universities.
I don't see them in power. They might just be those very quiet people in the House of Assembly or whatever. The governors, I don't know whether they attended school in Nigeria, because if you attended school in Nigeria, why would you allow Nigerian school to die?
All right. I understand your passion and the sentiment. Thank you very much for calling. So we're really trying to get to a nerve and a way to deal with this issue. And once again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Joyce.
Thank
you
you very much.
Talking to you. Bye.
Hearing from you. Okay, so Laboris, I'm going to let you speak. Gerontocracy and the fact that we have a gerontocratic system where older people, I think that has actually been a concern, I would say, for a long time.
I said it here last time, and I will repeat, we are the cause of all of this.
Oh.
There was ASU strike during the NSAS protests. If you remember, students were home.
Okay.
Even though it was not student protests, it was, the injustice and the police brutality. And so people felt, look, this is affecting all of us, younger people more, so we need to eradicate this. But at the end of the day, how did it end? So we need to draw lessons from that and say we don't want to be caught flat-footed this time. This time around, let us not play back into their hand. Let them, they already have a mindset and they have a script. Let us not allow this one, go the same way, so it plays into their script and it plays into their narrative. And then they use that as an opportunity, to now draw Nigerians against each other. Those that are going through those areas, we say, these people are disturbing us. They want to go about our normal business. We're also suffering. Others, we say, look, this has nothing to do with ASU. ASU is not here. Federal government, the negotiating is not here. So what I am saying is, it's consistently, you see a pattern of strike consistently. And now, elections are approaching. We'll still allow this, and before now, when election comes like this, we allow this same set of people to control the narrative, because we have been weaponized by poverty, and then on election day, all we think about is who is paying the highest. We're not seeing these general decisions as a result of political leadership. So we still just toe the line of, no, this party will win. This one does not have food soldiers. This one had been on ground. I don't want to waste my vote kind of mentality. So when you do that, you end up, consistently playing into the hands of people who will say, well, we have an agreement with ASU, we don't have money. Others will say, well, we need to pad the budget to have money. All the social vices. And then you end up complaining. You sit down in the beer parlor, you complain. And then tomorrow you say, no, we need to shut down this government to get it right. We need to go out and protest. Some persons will tell you, yes, we need to go out there and protest. They're at home. Others will say, well, I remember the June 12th crisis. I remember how people died. As a university undergraduate, my university was right bang on the express. We protest, then we all troop out to the express. We block the road. We block motorists. Sometimes some persons will use that as an opportunity to steal from road users, and then the next thing, they'll send in the police. In some cases, they send in the soldiers, and this university will be shut for some time, and then we'll all go home. We'll come back. They will charge us a fee for the disruptions. And because we want to quickly graduate, those that want to quickly graduate, you say, okay, no, let's just, settle down for this semester and write this exam and go. Those that want to leave the school, no, look, I need to go to NYSC. I need to do this. I need to do that. It has been the same pattern over time. So now election, it is very timely. Elections are around the corner. There is a mass movement. There are campaigns, even though the campaign window had not been open, there are indirect campaigns. There are abuses. There are narratives and counter-narrative. So anything you do now, anything you are going to do now, you need to put all of this in the mix so that your actions and inactions is not read along those political line, because it will be easy for people who are not patriotic, who also do not feel your pain, to be used as mold by government to, undermine your efforts. And yet, at the end of the day, we will say work done zero. So that's why I'm saying that, look, protest is good. I support protest 100%, but there's need for a strategy, watertight strategy. So at the end of the day, government itself is caught flat-footed. And then the even international community, you don't need to call on them. The news will be everywhere.
Okay, so is it possible that the people who have expected, because I think this is how the relationship works, the people expect the government to fight for them, speak for them. In fact, in many cases, ASU would say we shouldn't be on strike if we had a government who was willing to cater to, defend, stand for and by ASU and the students of Nigeria who are willing to put their neck on the line to prevent the consistency of strikes.
Of decay.
Good. And then maybe now the people, it's possible, and this is an assumption, it's possible that the people might be feeling that the government has not been for them, that the government is for the government, and then ASU is for ASU. It's like all man for himself. Yeah, and so when you speak about, exactly, so when you speak about strategy, it seems as though because the people seem somewhat disadvantaged, they don't have the resource, they don't make the laws, they are at the mercy of those who make the laws, they are those who supply resource. So when you say strategy,
you engage your brain now.
So it doesn't appear that they have much to work with.
We're not talking about money. You engage your brain now. You now feel, okay, I don't have the kind of resources that these people have. My friend and colleague, Moses Osakede, was a NANS president, died on the way to Makurdi to discuss the reinstatement of some lecturers and students who were rusticated by, I think, Benue State University then. NANS presidency is a big task. It's almost like being the president of Nigeria. You're the president of Nigerian students. And there are bodies, just like governors. There are SUG presidents in all the universities. There are ESCO members in all the universities. And so they also play a key role, even though in some cases you find that some of them have been, compromised by the university authorities themselves. I worked in the university environment, so I understand all of this. I was also once a student union leader. I played a key role in protest as a student. And consistently we were using the same pattern. And at the end of the day, we'll achieve the same results. So that's why, in retrospect, with the benefit of experience that I've gotten now, I'm saying if I were to organize this protest, what I would do, I'll first and foremost sit down with all my SUG presidents and say, you know what, how do we do it differently so that we'll achieve the desired result? And at the end of the day, without breaking, a bone, and without even giving them the opportunity to break a bone. And let's start by being strategic so that we also win the sympathy of our parents and others who feel the need.
So quite a number of questions. I don't know that we need to win the sympathy, because I think that maybe
you need to.
Okay, well,
you
so
need to,
I
because
think
it's not everybody
who has a student.
Who has a student. Look, let me tell you, as much as we are complaining, we are crying, there are some people who are benefiting from the system who don't care.
Okay.
There are some people who are not benefiting, but are sympathetic to the system.
Okay.
They don't care.
Is it?
There are some who are aloof. They are neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So you need to also make them feel see the need, not to push them away. You need to also make them feel your pain and understand the need to cry with you, not cry for themselves.
Okay. Wow. I think I was that has informed another question, because a caller called in just the last set of calls I picked up, and the caller said that he's in support of shutting down things, because if you
shut down the entire
he says if you make a way where people have to drive through and go about their businesses without any interruption,
if it's still inconvenience,
they might fail. No, he's saying that they would fail to realize the burden or the weight of what's.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because Lagos is not the seat of power.
Okay.
What you're just doing is you want to make a statement. You want to draw attention of Lagosians to your plight, even though they're already aware. But knowing fully well that this is not the seat, this is not where, this is not in the nerve center, this is not the center of gravity, like they say in mathematics and the military. So we want a situation where we'll be able to draw people also with us.
Okay.
So in protesting, we know a lot of people are going to suffer, because of some sections of the road are going to be closed, but we also need to open up some to let others pass it by. All we just want is for them to see us, that we've been at home. Because maybe because we're not gathered together like this, people just see us individually. And we also need them to know that this, as a result of this injustice that is being meted out to us, is so many things have been happening. How do I assess the crowd and know what's, for example, what's inscribed in your placard if I am not even able to get there?
Well, I think so far, my observation on radio, I haven't had a lot of objections. I've heard people say it's okay, they should shut it down. Like, we understand their plight.
Then another thing
We've been Nigerian enough to understand the burden.
Where you have a government that had consistently shown not to listen.
Yeah.
You think that government will allow you fold their
now
hands
now
and
that
say,
you
"Shut
even
it
went
down"?
there? So now a lot of people are concerned. They even say one of the many reasons
they would think you're confrontational.
Okay, hold on. Now a lot of people are saying that the reason the government is taking this with so much levity is because of the gerontocratic nature, the gerontocratic class. They suppose that if we had younger people who were more vibrant,
Minister for State for Labor, not the
whether it's direct, whether it's politics directly, whether it's education, they say gerontocracy is the problem. Old men, these men need to retire. Many people say that.
It has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with age. It has a lot to do with education, really. Like last time I talked about the fact that we do not still understand what education is.
From the people or from the government?
Everybody. So you end up, let me tell you how political leadership is selected here. It has nothing to do with age. Recently I listened to, on this station, I listened to Tonyeko. He said when they came back, a lot of them came back into Nigeria, they felt they wanted to build business empire so that they'll be secure financially. But after building business empire, they discovered that those people that would take the decision whether their business empires will survive or not,
were not educated?
We're not as educated as them. And so he decided, you know what? I've built a business empire, but what I ordinarily should be building is political leadership. So he decided to resign. Let me go play politics. So that's what happens. A lot of us were trained to go to university, graduate, look for a job. It is even now that we're talking about creating job. Don't look for a job maybe in government or outside of government. Don't even aspire to political leadership position. We are not trained to aspire. And so you now find out the situation where people who aspire, one everyday guy you used to know in the area, who when you went to university, he was a fisherman, or he couldn't go to university, he barely dropped out of secondary school, and now he joined the political parties because of his nuisance value. He attends meetings regularly, and then someday they say, well, councillorship say, oh, this man had been loyal, he's been consistent, let him go and represent us. He goes there, he's now a councillor. He's now called honorable.
Yeah, someone bankrolls him.
Yes, he's now called honorable. From there, they say, oh, he served very well. Let him go to the House of Assembly. He becomes your House of Assembly member. And then somehow he says, look, education is important. Let me do evening class somewhere. After all, there's emphasis on the paper qualification, the certificate. So he goes for evening class. He comes out. He even goes for masters, whether he writes the exam. Because also, in some cases, because of the poor nature of the remuneration of the lecturers, they can sell these certificates.
They sell certificates.
He gets a master's degree. He tells you he has a master's degree. He can't string a sentence together. And he's your leader. He aspires to be a governor. This has nothing to do with age. Do you think a man like that, he looks at you, you're speaking English, he says, look, after I became what I became without even going to education, going through school. So do I need you? I don't. So that's how we abdicated our responsibility to select. And then in the process of selecting and electing them, we say, consign me. Election result, votes don't count. So why do I want to be part of the process? Because we say it doesn't count, you still leave it for his likes. Who will elect him as the leader? But you forget that it's not going to be the leader of his likes. It's going to be your leader and the leader of everybody.
Whether you like it or you don't.
So Asu now comes and say, Pacta Sot Savanda. He says, what's that? You say there's need, all agreement must be binding. Say, well, we don't have money. Meanwhile, he's thinking of how to take his girlfriend shopping in Paris because he needs to buy a new car. He says, government, as his excellency, I need to drive big cars. I need to live in big house. And then he looks at the environment. It's very hostile. He says, no, my children can't live in such an environment. They can't even school here. He takes them abroad. So he's disconnected completely from your reality. The queen dies, he's mourning the queen. Meanwhile, his people are dying in droves here. So when you want to and then what he does, he creates a divide and rule mechanism. Where he draws a few, including educated ones, including professors, to himself, that he consistently overfeeds. Those ones will also have acolytes and supporters. The day you now wake up to your reality and say, no, I've allowed this for too long. We need to take back power. But that man is entrenched. You think he's just going to allow you? He controls the paraphernalia of office. He controls the structure of office. He's not going to allow you have an easy run.
Okay.
So he's going to confront you. So that is why I say you have to be strategic in confronting him.
Okay. We're off on a break. Lagos, Nigeria. I know you're enjoying this as much as it frustrates you. We'll be right back.
Mall of Fame Nigeria presents Future Kids Competition and Awards 2022. Submit a creative and innovative advert video or skit about your school and country and win big at the Future Kids Oscar Awards, the first children's Oscars ever. To participate, go to www.malloffamenigeria.com.ng or call 090-614-85066. Competition is open to preschool, primary, and secondary